everybody. Long day for all of you, yeah. Lot of information. I must say information overload actually, but I'm 100% sure quite a lot of learning too. So before I really introduce this topic of discussion with all of you, I think I would want to ask my co-panelists a question, though they have already been introduced, but I want to know them a little better. So the question is, what do you really love doing outside of your work? Since I'm the moderator, I'll take the liberty to answer for myself first. I love travel. Travel is like a therapy for me. And as they say, travel really makes you speechless and turns you into a storyteller. And I must confess, I love telling stories. Now, can I please ask my co-panelists? Maybe Shikha, would you like to answer?
As we grow, from our teens to when we grow, take up jobs, there are a lot of passions that we keep changing. And the last 2 years have been too heavy load on us. I think a lot of learnings this generation at least had. And one takeaway that I had in all these last 2 to 3 years was, of course, fitness. And fitness, for now at least, I can say, is my passion. Being fit, making people around me more fit, is what I would say, Radhika, is I want to take as my current passion or current interest.
I'm glad you said it. I'll come to it later. Kiran, please.
Well, you want to tell stories. I like to watch stories. So
Okay, great.
when not working, I'm a huge movie buff. Watch everything, any language with subtitles. I mean, pretty much watch everything. That's my
Thank you.
therapy.
Thank you to both of you, and thank you for being so transparent with all of us. Okay, so fitness is definitely the topic of today, what we have. Wellness programs for long, have been viewed as just those nice haves and not the strategic imperatives for the organization. Newer evidence and COVID, however, tells us a different story. Most analysis of the workplace wellness program tells us that it's a hard return on money, money invested versus money saved on account of employee productivity, lesser absenteeism, and of course, a huge savings on the healthcare costs. Often overlooked aspect of employee wellness programs are their impact on the organization culture and also the level of employee engagement they can, really build in. And of course, COVID, as the person, the organizer was just telling us, the COVID has really shaken all of us up. The physical wellness, the mental wellness. I think there's already a case study in front of all our employees, that they really have to now invest in their biggest wealth, which is health. So what we as corporates need to do is just show them the path and hone their skills. So, employee productivity is really linked to the happy mindset of the employee, which is correlated to the health. Having said that, still, at the core of the skills, which can be acquired, taught, or developed, somehow, I don't know why, but wellness and health, these are very underrated skills on the L&D agenda. We have not really focused on them. So what do we think? Is it really a skill which can be taught to our employees? And this is our topic of today's Fireside Chat. Before we dwell on this topic a little further, I would have a question to you, Shikha. This employee wellness has suddenly become a buzzword, really, in this corporate world, especially post-COVID. Do you think it will fizzle out like other trends, or is it here to stay?
We have learned the hard way. I mean, our generation learns the hard way. And who doesn't want a happy workforce? All of us being leaders here would definitely want to invest in a happy workforce. And that definitely comes with a lot of value adds that you can always plan for your employee. And fitness, I think, is a top priority of any organization that you talk of. And it started, of course, from the COVID times when we were struggling in wave 2. Then there was whole vaccination drives as HR fraternity we were to run. And when we today talk, there is a lot of issues related to mental stress, work-life balance, health at workplace, stress at workplace. So how do you address these agendas? I mean, there has to be a way out. And Radhika, you said it's a skill, right? I mean, I think we are still too early to adopt this as a skill. I mean, it's harder for us in our country to adopt wellness as a skill. So I think it has to come with continuous learning. We have to ensure that we keep inculcating this not just in our employees. I mean, definitely they'll be in, but it has to start from the top. So our leaders need to accept the fact that beyond numbers, beyond daily productivities, AOPs, there is wellness on the top priority. And then only I think that's where the mindsets will start changing. And of course, as humans, we have a tendency where we start going down on these kind of objectives which are very soft in nature. So is it there to stay or not is our self decision. So as leaders in the fraternity, we need to ensure that this is not just a skill but a routine, a habit that we keep inculcating in all our employees, all our leaders, all the time. And a behavior trend needs to start somewhere. So this can be with a lot of programs, awareness, sessions that employees need to undergo, and has to have a start point at least.
Very relevant, Shikha. Actually, it has to become a way of life. There's no other way about it. And as corporates, we need to really prioritize self-care. The great resignation trend has actually shown us people have left organizations only to sometime take a break and take care of themselves. So we have to package our agenda in such a way that we say that this self-care of employees is there on the top of our agenda. And it's somehow linked to, of course, superior performance and overall improvement of the employees and the organization. Thanks. We move ahead. I think my next question would be to you, Kiran. Since you are in this industry, I would want to understand from you, can you let us know about a few case studies where, really investing in the wellness programs have got returns for the organizations?
So there are, I would say, three kinds of organizations that we work with. First organization is they really don't look for any returns. They're genuinely interested in employee welfare. And for them, as long as even two people, or like I'm talking about an organization, IT services organization, which is around 8,000 employees, right, spread across India. When I met the CHRO, his success metric was very simple. Kiran, as long as there's at least two people who benefit out of this entire program, my job is done, right? Those are the organizations who genuinely believe, right? Then there's the second kind of organizations that we work with. For them, this is a way of cutting costs, right? Today, if you look at during the COVID, a lot of claims happened, right? And I'm sure if I ask a raise of hands in terms of premiums going up this year for across the organizations more than 20-30%, I'm sure there will be a ton of people here, right? And the only way that organizations are looking at how we can reduce this is by investing in the counterbalance of this, which is well-being, right? And the third kind of organizations that we are working with have nothing to do with any of this. They look at health, lifestyle, well-being, health benefits as a way to engage, right? So for them, this is a way for them to engage where it's like hitting two birds with one stone, right? Which is On one end, you're telling your employees, I really do care about you. On the other front, you're engaging employees through these initiatives where now employees who, I would say, multi-located workforce who are spread across India, they're looking at ways to engage them through these initiatives, right? So these are three, and from a simple case study point of view, uh, there is one company that we work with, KPO company, right? 800 employees. This is last year was the fourth year that they've been working with us, investing in well-being. They started with across 800 employees. They started with 10 lakhs. They said this is the best because in the past nobody breached that 10 lakh mark as a well-being, right? And when we breached it, they increased it to 20, they increased it to 30. They were happy. In fact, they were happy going back to CFO saying that the budget that we actually typically set aside for employee well-being is now being overutilized, which historically hasn't been, right? And in the fourth year, the insurance company started taking notice that if I compare this 800 employee company to another typical KPO, right, where they don't do any of these initiatives, this particular bunch of 800 employees are way more aware about health. So my risk when it comes to underwriting is much better compared to other companies, because if you look at how insurance companies underwrite, they look at millions of population as a broad brush. They don't have siloed data. Now, for the first time, they are seeing that, okay, this 800 bunch has participated in activities. They participated in annual health checkups. We have the data for these 800 employees. They saw the trend for 3 years. While the insurance premium goes up 10% every year, in this company, it came down by 10%. So it's a long-term strategy, not an overnight thing where it's going to impact. And I can give you, I mean, we work with 500 plus companies. I can give you 500 case studies across engagement, savings, and like I said, as a way of life.
Wonderful. So now you can see, right? There is a real ROI coming there. And he's the man to go. Yeah. So I've done marketing also for you. Okay, great. So moving on. The next question would be, what are the key things which we should keep in mind while designing employee wellness strategy for the organization? And I've been told by AT that I'll share my thoughts first on this. So I think the first key thing which I would want is to set clearly defined goals for me. You know, like he said, there are 3 categories of organizations. Some would be just seriously concerned about employee wellness, and they will look at that even if the 2 employees benefit. Somebody would want to reduce the healthcare costs. Somebody would want to, increase employee engagement. So whatever is the plan, I think the first thing is to understand and, of course, have measurable goals for the employee wellness strategy. That would be my first thing on the agenda. Second would be like for any other HR initiative or any other initiative in the organization, I would want to understand what does my customer wants? What are my employees looking for in this wellness strategy? So I'll have my ear to the ground, understand their needs, and then design the strategy. Third one, of course, would be because of this hybrid world and all, what role would technology play? How would I really digitize my wellness strategy? So these would be my 3 key things on the cards. Over to you, Shikha. What would you like to consider?
So these strategies, in my opinion, needs to be really blended. I mean, while I look at my workforce from telecom, I would have a mix of masses which are there, and also a mid and a senior leadership workforce that we have. So it's a good mix of talent that we have across board. and the strategies needs to be blended, and the ones that are successful in a model which covers all the facets of workforce. So to me, it has to be a good mix. It has to be a mix of offerings which are oriented towards employee health benefits, which usually are very typical programs. Then employee well-being in terms of special initiatives that we should be carrying out in phased manners should be another set of strategies that all the in these times we should look at adopting. And the special exclusive strategies where we think that will enhance not just the happiness quotient at workplace, but also ensure that people feel happy to come back to work when they know that they are being taken care of, right? So when I know that my organization is going to ensure that my health benefits, my happiness question at work is being taken care of, I'll be very happy to come back to work daily. So it's not just enhancing my turnover, absenteeism, productivity, but a workforce which is going back happy as well, right? And taking those learnings back home. So I don't want a stressful workforce every day coming back to work. So it has to be a good blend that I believe that we should start thinking and looking at.
Great, very well said. Thank you. Would you like to add a few things, Kiran, to it?
Yeah, like you rightly said, what cannot be measured cannot be improved, right? So interestingly, when we speak to a lot of our clients, right, the first thing that we ask is, what is your success metric, right? While there's a OKR for finance team, there's an OKR for engineering. Every department within the company does have an OKR, right? As even the technical talent acquisition team has an OKR, right? But the comp and ben manager or anybody who's actually leading the wellness initiative within the company has zero OKR. I mean, we haven't seen anybody say, okay, this is how we are being measured, or this is my success metric, right? So very important to measure, to define what is the company's success going to look like by doing this initiative and tracking towards that. That's missing in quite a few companies.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Kiran. Thanks for validating that. Another one I would want to discuss would be, what do you think are the key future trends? In probably because you work with so many companies and so many industries, what are the future trends in this employee wellness space for different industries?
Absolutely. In fact, I'll just give you an example of one of our client who's also around here. LinkedIn is our client, right? So just give you a sense of the way the work culture is changing, right? So when we started with LinkedIn, right, this is pre-COVID, right? Most of the employees would have been co-located in Bangalore around their office area. So most of the initiatives that LinkedIn and we were building together were more around the Bangalore and their office area, right? I mean, physical events, co-located, close to hospitals in and around LinkedIn. Post-COVID, in the new normal, I'm sure everybody would agree to it that you wouldn't know where majority of your employees are, right? Most of the time, the HR, the fraternity today doesn't know where employees working from, T1, T2, T3, T4 cities, or there's a distributed workforce. So the key trend that we are seeing right now is being able to provide unified benefits for employees while they're working across India, irrespective. I mean, they could be working from anywhere in India, but they want to provide the same set of benefits. Now, if you look at as an HR, you cannot say, boss, since you are in T1, you get these benefits, Tier 1 city. If you're in Tier 4 city, you don't get these benefits because there's no facilities, right? As a company, when you roll out benefits, you want to provide the same set of benefits to everybody because everybody is on the same level playing field. That's how you want to treat your employees, right? That's the number one trend that we are looking at. Which is providing unified benefits for distributed workforce. The second trend that we are looking at is today, like I mentioned, analytics has become big, right? So today there are a lot of even conferences that are happening around HR analytics, right? Because like I mentioned, what cannot be measured cannot be improved. A lot of companies are looking for deeper data in terms of where is my risk, how can I focus on the risk, where can I improve, how can I talk to my insurance companies in a more knowledgeable way in terms of where my premium should be, right? And none of that analytics was existent before. So a lot of companies are looking for analytics. And the third most important thing that the companies are looking at is consolidating all of this under single platform, right? So today you have a distributed benefits architecture, or I would say well-being initiatives. Somebody would do teleconsultation, somebody would do mental wellness, some hospital would do health checkups. It's not useful because these are all data lost in multiple silos. And every year you wake up under a new rock, starting from ground zero again. So now all these are the three trends that we are seeing, where analytics, providing unified benefits for the distributed workforce, right? And being able to consolidate all of this under one single umbrella.
And another one which I want to add, which is my personal favorite, is kind of hyper personalization. No size fits all approach.
Absolutely.
Whatever my employee wants, I have to give that to that employee, right? So there has to be flexibility, there has to be personalization, and like you rightly said, unified experience as well as in the hybrid mode. So an employee could want a on-site health checkup. My wellness strategy should be able to give that, plus probably a real-time wellness resource through a technology app. So it has to be both, right? Would you like to add something to this, Shikha?
Yeah, I think these 2 years have really taught us a good trust on our employees, which went missing, in the past. We have become more open while we were very conservative. And that's why more health benefits, more well-being initiatives are being taken. We are more flexible. We are more hybrid now. We are more productive. We spend less time on roads. So I think these are the new future trends which are giving more trust to the leaders on their employees. So I see that drift also coming in the behavior of the organizations, the leaders. And of course, forums like this are change makers to us, which help us talk, discuss, and share our views. So I think at least with the trend that I'm seeing, trust is a big change that has come across in the last 2 years, and that's the future, I think, which I would want to build on and take my employees to the next level of wellness.
Okay, thank you. I think we still have some time. One last question to you, Kiran, before we open it to the audience. Since you have talked about measurement, I would want to really understand from you in very clear terms, how do you really measure the success of any wellness program? And yeah, that would be the last.
So I'll just give you another example, right? Which is we recently partnered with Bangalore International Airport, right? Which just launched with us 2 months ago. Again, like I said, for us as part of the initiation, the first rule of thumb is we sit down and talk to them. What is your success metric, right? And for them, the CHRO was very clear, saying my success metric is the utilization of this benefit, and he challenged us, saying that historically we haven't seen more than, so this is an annual health checkup for all the blue collar and white collar employees across the Bangalore airport. Historically, he said we haven't seen more than 30% utilization of this benefit. Now let me give you a very, very challenging number. Success for me is if you can breach 70% utilization. Right, in terms of, I mean, that's like OKR, right?
Too ambitious, I would say.
And now we breached 70%. He said now in the next 15 days we need to get to 85%.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, s- when what happens is when we tell them that all of this can be measured, right? The health improvement, the scoring of the company vis-a-vis other company 3 years before, post initiatives, what's the score of the company? When we tell them all this can be measured, right? Why not be ambitious? Because end of the day, you want to do good to your entire employee base rather than just a 30% of them, right? So anything can be measured.
And I would want to have the ROI on every money I invest. So
Absolutely.
it better be measurable. Yes,
It's
please.
reduced turnover, right? You
Yeah.
see that in your matrix month on month. If you invest on wellness, you will see that reduced turnover month
Okay,
on month. So
so the
that's
bell
a
goes
great
off.
indicator, I would say, that we have for such
Thank you.
initiatives.
Can we quickly have one or two questions? Okay, one. Sure, please.
Carrying forward from last point which Radhika mentioned about measurement of wellness, what Kiran you answered is as far as utilization of certain services is concerned. But even after the utilization of the service, we never know whether the employees really felt the impact, especially if there is no temperature measurement or anything of that sort. Second thing is the variety and the wideness as far as wellness is concerned. I mean, the definition of wellness keeps expanding as well. So my question to Radhika and Shikha is more from a large organization perspective. I mean, where do you draw the line, or do you draw the line? And if you don't draw the line, how do you constantly keep looking out for more solutions? I mean, it's like a never-ending curve, right? I mean, COVID has just opened one aspect of wellness, which is mental, and of course, many other aspects were always there, and then they will continue as well. So, how do you address a growing, ever-growing need? How do you plan it out?
I think I totally, echo your views. Wellness is a huge canvas, and we can go on and touching on the various aspects. Of course, COVID has brought physical and mental wellness to the forefront. And I think, as far as my organization is concerned, probably we are touching on the three aspects right now: physical, mental, and also trying to take care of the financial wellness aspect of it. In terms of the measurement, also, I totally accept your point that just mere utilization of the app would not give me results. So if I have a wellness strategy, and let's say if I engage with them, I would want to link it to employee engagement scores. I would want to link it to the retention. I would see if the attrition has come down because of this. And also, I would like to really see the happiness quotient of my employees. So these would be the 2-3 things I would want to measure. Yeah.
And to me, I think so far, our approach has been always reactive. I mean, be it pandemic or non-pandemic, we have always acted when we needed it. But the change would be, and that would be the differentiator, is that it's a behavior change, right? So we have to continuously focus on programs that become a behavior. And at times I've seen that it becomes also a force for HR leaders to implement a checkbox activity. So that blockage we need to break, right? So we have to have programs which are blended, which are for all, and can be adopted, so that we are not having programs which are just a checkbox activity. So it should be more proactive rather than a reactive approach.